So you'll be the head coach of Burleson, the Burleson Elks, and so you're going through the summer workout process right now. You're soon to have the two-a-day process. How's that process been, and being a head coach, and how's the team looking?
First of all, just to answer the question about being a head coach, it's something that I never take for granted. It's always great to lead a program and be in leadership roles. As far as the summer going, it's going really well. I've had great buy-in, not only from the kids, but from the parents as well. They're getting their kids here. I ask my parents all the time, what can they do to support my program? Just get the kids here. That's half the battle. If we can just get them here, we'll do the rest. But it's been great buy-in from the kids. They've been rocking and rolling, been really getting after it. Had our first session, and that pushed through that 4th of July week. We knew we had a 2-week break, and we just got back this week. We'll go for another 2.5 weeks, give them a couple of days off, and then we'll start training camp, which is our 2 days on August the 4th.
All righty, so you coached for Burleson in the past. So you were offensive coordinator under John Kitna, another Cowboy.
Yes, sir.
Then you went to Fort Worth Southwest. Then you made your return back to Burleson. So what was the leading factor to coming back to Burleson?
Oh, man, just how strong of a community is here. Even when I left, I kept in touch. I kept in touch with every coach. I kept in touch with the kid, administration, stayed in the community. And like I said, I left to go get head coaching experience, get head coaching experience so that in the event that one day I had the opportunity to be sitting in this seat, that I would be prepared for it. So that was my main reason for leaving to take that head coaching job at Southwest. But just coming back, I know that here at Burleson High School, it's a gold mine. The kids work, the community supports you, the admin supports you. So it was a no-brainer for me to jump at that opportunity to be able to come back and lead the Elks as a head coach.
Awesome. So, the Battle of the Boot is, one of the biggest rivalries out there. So Centennial has taken the past 3 games. What is your plan to get that game back to Burleson?
I mean, the plan is to do what he did 3 years prior, and I was a part of that group in 2021 that had the boot, that won the boot here with John Kitna my second year. But the thing is I think out of high school rivalries, man, that's one of the best. That's one of the best, and I love everything about it. I love the community. I love the community support, and then for, 3 hours on a Friday night, the community is split between red and blue, and it's just it's a great atmosphere. So my goal is to go out there and stand behind my guys, have my kids ready to play. Give them the confidence and instill the confidence in them. And from the work ethic from a schematic perspective to the mental and physical perspective, have them ready to go out and just put a good product on the field. The community deserves it. The community deserves a great football game from both sides, from CHS as well as BHS. So we'll go out, and the goal is always, to bring the boot back to 100 Elk Drive.
Awesome. So I mentioned John Kitna being a Cowboy, and you were a Cowboy yourself, playing a running back. And so playing in the pros, has playing in the pros ever transfer over to your coaching, in what way?
Yeah, it has. It has, from the perspective of knowing exactly what a player feels, what he wants to, how he needs to get to where he want to get to. But for the most part, from playing in the pros or going through the college ranks and just playing on the highest level, it's knowing how to coach. I coached the kids how I would want to be coached and how I felt when I didn't want to be coached. So those are things that I go through every day. I sit down and I evaluate myself and my coaching staff, and then my assistant coaches on how we go about business, how a staff should look like. So those are the things that help me coaching from playing in the NFL, and also just player evaluation. One thing about the NFL, if you're there, they're going to find a place for you to play. It's not what you can't do, it's what you can do. And those are the things that I instill in my coaching staff, well, my players. Every kid on the roster, we got to figure out, what can this kid do? How can they contribute to a winning program and helping us to be efficient and being great at everything that we do? So I also believe in servant leadership and also transformational coaching. Even on the highest level, you find those coaches that coach the whole young man, coaching from inside out. So those are traits that I bring, that I've learned from the NFL, that I bring here. But then the last thing is just everybody wants to be coached. Everybody wants to be coached, and the same way that little Johnny played for the Burleson Elks is the same way that Jason Witten played for the Dallas Cowboys. They want to be coached. They want to have fun playing football.
Yes, sir. So you mentioned, getting that player on the field that, deserves to be on the field. And as most coaches do, they have a certain play style that they coach. They coach to a certain play style. Has your coaching style ever changed, or could change this season due to a certain player just breaking out? For example, you're strong in the passing game, but you got a strong running back. Could you have a key contributor that could maybe change your game a little bit?
No doubt. I think that's a part of coaching. I think that's a part of life. That's a part of leading, and that's being able to adjust. To be able to adjust and to be able to lean on the things that you do well. So that's one thing about us here at Burleson High School, and that's why we'll stand firm on grit. Our grittiest, toughest players is who we'll build our team around. Offense, defensively, if it's a receiver, whether if it's an offensive line, whoever it is, we'll build our team around the most grittiest and toughest players. That's a keystone foundation, a brick in our program is grit. That's our foundation. We'll build a gritty team day in and day out. So the guys that come out there and work their tails off, that's what we'll build it around. But again, we'll make the adjustments. It can be week to week. It can be every 3 weeks. It can be every day. Whatever it is that we find that this is our identity, we'll lean on that. And that's the thing we go through training camp. I tell my coaches all the time, before August 4th and definitely before August 29th, we need to have every question answered. We can't go into the battle of the booth trying to find answers to questions. We need to answer those questions now through practice, through training, through strength and conditioning, through character development about what's our DNA, how do we establish that, and that's who and what we'll build our team around.
You use the word leadership a lot, and just in this interview alone, you have a bunch of returning lettermen. How many returning lettermen do you have coming in on offensive and defensive side of the ball? Yeah,
we got a lot because we had a young team last year. We'll have a young team this year, but we'll have a young experienced team last year with 10 varsity games under their belt. So on the offensive side of the ball, man, I think we'll bring back at least six to seven starters, and probably the same on defense as well. So we're bringing a lot of guys back, still young, but they're young and experienced now.
Do you see any of these guys, stepping up into a leadership role and, just kind of help leading the team when it's just not you leading the team?
Yeah, for sure. Mike linebacker Lawson Blanchard, he's a guy that's been on varsity since his freshman year, played a lot of varsity football. He's definitely the vocal guy. If you come to practice, that's who you're going to hear. He's a vocal guy. He fly around. We have Jaden Flournoy, who is our top cornerback, committed to Boise. Committed to Boise State, just a big-time player. He's more of just lead by example guy. He's not a big talker. Lawson is that talker on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, our center Beach, he just comes out and just every single day gets better. He's a guy that'll be a rising junior. Played a lot last year, be a starter this year. He leads us. He leads us on the receiver group. Brody Lott. Brody Lott. He's not a big hoorah communicate guy. He's just a lead by example guy. So those are the guys. Those guys that are step into leadership roles and lead this team on the field, off the field, and in the community.
So I mentioned you were offensive coordinator here in the past. Have you seen yourself, kind of drawn a little bit to the offensive side of the ball more, or are you trying to, even it out towards the defense as well?
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's one of the hardest things, as a head coach. And last year, I didn't call it on either side of the ball, so I was able to spend more time with the defense and then fly around as a special teams and just be a head coach. And I didn't like it as much. I felt left out of the loop. So this year, I jumped back on the offensive side of the ball. So I'd be on the offensive side of the ball, helping call on the offensive side of the ball, helping to install. So heavily being involved on the offensive side of the ball. This year, and I'm excited. I'm excited just to be back coaching. As a head coach, man, you do everything but be a coach. I have a great assistant head coach in Wes Robertson, and he's able to take some of the load and help me out with some of the head coaching roles so that I can jump out there and be able to coach and install on the offense. So that's kind of where I'm at. I force myself not to jump in the running back room because that's the easiest thing to do from the normacy of it. So now I'm spending more time, with the quarterbacks and then the offensive line, to learn as much as I can with those guys and being able to coach those positions and just not just fall victim to my normacy and jump in the running back room.
Is there a certain part of your team that you just think they've been striving, like maybe a receiver room that's, just killing it out there? Is there a certain part of your team that you think you're just going to exceed expectations, like to way beyond what people expected?
I think it would either be our receivers or our defensive line. I think our defensive line, they were good last year, but I think it's a group that I think they lost one guy. It lost one guy. But then we also have a guy on that sub-varsity level from last year that's bumping up in Kingston Craven. That's going to be it's going to make a splash for us. Yeah, he's going to make a splash for it. But I think with the D-line, with Daniel Armstrong, Gio, we got a young pup and Connor Barnes coming up on that D-line, and then a coach by Coach McGinnis that just gets after it every day. So I think our D-line is going to be kind of like the motor. Our D-line is just going to help us do everything we need to do. They're going to be the engine of that defense. They get after it now. They definitely get after it. So I think between our D-line, we got a receiver group. Got a receiver group that guys can play from all sides, every position, from inside, outside, can line up at tight end and things like that. So between our receiver group and then our defensive line, I think that's going to be the ones that just definitely make splashes.
Awesome. So I got 3 more questions for you. Who's going to be some guys that he's just going to be in the newspaper articles every week? Just some guys that are it's going to make his name for himself this year.
Yeah, so on the offensive side of the ball, Jaden Hernandez, he's playing slot receiver for us, and he ended up on the last probably 5 to 6 game of the year, man. He really started breaking out for us, and he's just been rolling, being consistent throughout spring, throughout OTA, skills and drills, and here in the summer, he's still just showing up and just making plays every day. So he's just one of those guys that's jumping off the tape for us, Jaden Hernandez. On the defense side of the ball, of course, Lawson Blanchard, linebacker, and then, of course, Jaden Flournoy. Jaden Flournoy, a big-time corner. Of course, he's going to be a guy that's going to always, be in the paper and make plays for us when we need him. So I think those guys, our quarterback room is getting better and better. But again, offensive line, they'll be fine. And then I think Kingston Craven. Kingston Craven is a guy that transferred over from Joshua last year, had to play on a sub-varsity level. But I think that this would be a really breakout year and a big year for him on the defensive line. Really good-looking kid, high-motor kid, good football IQ. I think he'd be one to help us as well.
So, in the preseason, every coach has a goal for their team. What's a goal for you this season for the Burleson Elks?
My goal is just for my guys to go out and play well. My goal, I'm not a big win-loss goal type guy. Of course, I preach to my guys, prepare yourself to play more than 10 football games. But I don't get into the, we got to go 4-6 or 5-5. We got to win this many. I just want my guys to go out and have fun playing football. I want my seniors to be able to walk off the field at the end of the season with their head high, knowing that they had a great senior season. They experienced great football under my leadership. So that's my goal, for all my seniors to be able to walk out of here knowing that they got the best in everything they wanted out of a high school football experience under my leadership.
Lastly, just give us some behind the scene information on just this whole team. Like, how do you describe them as a whole, and just like their bond together?
Yeah, I mean, these guys love being around each other. They love being around each other. It's points we have to go in the indoor, kick them out. Go home, guys. Go home. They love being around each other. This coaching staff love being around each other. These kids love being around the coaching staff. So I think that's the biggest thing, man. We one of our mantras is us against the world, and we really go about that daily. But this is going to be a team that's going to be confidence, not arrogance. Confidence because they know they have put in the work in, know they belong. We belong on the field to anybody. Our kids to go play anybody, anywhere, anytime. For 4 quarters, whoever, wherever. That's just a mindset. It's a gritty mindset, and we're going to fight now. No matter who it is we playing against, from the bottom of the bottom to the top of the top, we're going to go out and play our style of football, which is gritty football, day in and day out, just for the love of the game and the passion of the game, and also just paying homage back to the great community that we come from. Burleson is a great community, hard-nosed, hard-working community, and that's the product we'll put on the field every Friday night.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Man, great job.
Yes, sir.
Great job.